today's video, we will be discussing the hidden books that can be found throughout the new dungeon of Uldaman, the Legacy of Tyr. Be warned, these books shatter a lot of previously held notions on the lore, especially those parts related to the Titans. We will cover the explanation and some speculation on each and every one. But remember, a lot of this is our theories. Feel free to offer your alternatives in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And come, take a seat by the fire. The first book is the progress report for the facility Uldurus, written by Tyr to Loken. Brother Loken, as you requested, I offer the following report on the progress towards our objectives. I am pleased to say that the halls of infusion are now operational, though the work of imbuing order magic into the wellspring is only the beginning. I remain optimistic that the process will prove effective. Already we are detecting reduced levels of contamination. I hope your investigation into how Yogg-Saron compromised these living waters will yield answers. In the meantime, we can be assured that the evolution of another Galakrond will not be triggered by consuming unfiltered water. Once purification is complete, an additional benefit will be found in offering the infused water to dragonkind. By ingesting the water, or causing their eggs to absorb its effects, it should be possible to keep even the most willful dragons aligned with the Titans' philosophies. Our efforts to bring the proto-dragons in line has faced resistance, but I am formulating a strategy to speed the process along. Construction of the facility atop the halls of infusion is proceeding apace. Though the station is to be designated Uldurus, I must reluctantly report that the dragons have taken to calling the structure by the name Tyrhold. I will do my best to ensure our Titan-forged workforce does not also adopt this embarrassing pseudonym. But as of late, they seem to be expressing more and more opinions of their own. In closing, let me underscore once again how fervently I disagree with the assertions of Prime Designate Odin concerning the unsuitability of the dragon aspects. I have every confidence that they will prove fervent allies on our shared goals of keeping the world structured and disciplined. Ever your friend, Keeper Tyr. Let's unpack this step by step. First, it confirms one of our long-held theories, that the water that makes up the wellsprings was a natural phenomena, and they introduced order magic, or better known as arcane magic, into it in order to use it for their own ends. But now knowing that the old god Yogg-Saron had somehow infected the waters raises more questions than it answers. Yogg was always unique among the old gods, especially when it came to his blood and the strange properties it held as the ore we know as Saronite. Next is the violent mutation of Galakrond, which they are attributing to drinking the infected water before they purified it with order magic, which means that Galakrond was likely an early attempt of the old gods to use the dragons to achieve their goals, much in the same way N'Zoth used Deathwing. The now purified water making the dragons more docile and subservient to the will of the Titans was also a long-held theory of ours here at the campfire. This has been something that was building for some time, and the storm drakes in particular that we met in Legion offer the greatest clue. They were made to swear fealty to the Titans in order to be allowed to even exist, meaning the potential for many more flights that did not ally with them or drink the water was high. The last part is flavoursome, mostly, except where they mention that the Titan Forged are already beginning to show signs of free will, independent from their creators' designations. It has long been believed that the curse of flesh was the only reason the Titan Forged lost their stone and metal-like bodies. However, since learning of the construct matrices, it is more likely they also had the code to become biomass, as the Titans call it, buried deep within them. Before we lose our minds at how this is setting up the Titans as the bad guys, let's remember that this does not make them evil, but more that they, like most of the greater powers, have their own agenda, and it's either get on board or get out of the way. They were never our saviours, and we need to fight for our own beliefs now, not theirs. This next book is a letter from Tyr to his allies Ionia and Arcadus. It is titled, To My Staunchest Allies. My noble friends, forgive me for keeping secrets, but I instructed Sentinel Talondras to withhold this message until you had safely reached your destination. If you are reading this, then our worst fears have been realized. I have fallen to our foes, murdered on the order of the treacherous Loken. But fear not, for I have prepared for this dark eventuality. Along with the discs of Norganon that you carry, I have hidden another disc that holds a record of my own memories. Talondras will ensure it's safeguarded within the depths of Uldaman until such a time as it can be safely retrieved. I have fashioned the Refti to be unquestionably loyal to me. Before departing Valdrakken, I left a gift in the care of the dragon aspects, though they are unaware of its true purpose. The artifact can be used within the halls of Uldurus to outwit Loken's malignant schemes. When it is safe to do so, bring my memory disk back to Uldurus and retrieve the item I gave to the aspects. You will know what to do next. Dearest Ionia and most noble Arcadus, I place my trust in you. When we stand together, nothing can overcome our unity. Yours always, Tyr. The major reveal of this letter is the unknown item left in the care of the dragons. We know from the previous book that Uldurus is actually Tyrhold. Something left there had the power to stop Loken. As a reminder, Loken was one of the Titan Keepers and a jailer of Yogg-Saron at Ulduar. He was the first to succumb to the dark will of the old god and killed the wife of another keeper, Thorim. He then blamed this death on one of the Titan-forged giants and ignited a civil war later dubbed the Winter Scorn War. It was only much later that his treachery would be discovered. Although Tyr died at the hands of a Sithraxi, which are the Goliath generals of the old gods, it was, from Tyr's point of view, on the orders of Loken, who would have been acting as the voice of Yogg-Saron at the time. However, from what we know of the end of the war, the dragons did not use this artifact he refers to. Instead, they wove a spell that placed many of the Titanforged into an eternal stasis. Prepare your tinfoil hats for this one, but our theory here at the campfire is this. Tyr needed a failsafe in the event of his death, something he would only use as an absolute last resort, to make sure that Yogg-Saron or any of the other old gods did not get out. We believe that it is an artifact, an item, or a device of some sort that is essentially the kill switch for the keepers themselves. This will lead us nicely into the patch content, where we will see in the next book we meet a group of rebel Titanforged that wish to shake off the yoke of the Titans and forge their own destiny. The presence of this device will immediately alert the keepers that remain, especially Odin, where we finally confront him and make him pay for his sins against Helya. This leads us nicely into the next book, which is a Wreckage analysis report to Odin from one of his watchers. Prime Designate. I am writing to confirm that the wreckage discovered on our shores was indeed the remains of our most recent expedition to Avaloran. There were no survivors. This marks the third failed attempt to reach that accursed place in the time since I assumed my post. While I would not presume to question either your authority or your determination, I pray to the Titans that the rumours I hear of a fourth expedition are mere speculation, rather than fact. Surely, you can see the further pursuit of these heretics is folly. Yes, they must be made to answer for their crimes against Inaria and the other keepers, but their defences are not to be underestimated. The resources required to breach their lines are simply beyond our current capabilities, at least not without jeopardizing containment of the prisoners in our charge. Though I agree there is risk in allowing their strength to grow, evidence suggests that the aggressive nature of the heretics will cause them to turn on one another, weaken their resolve. If we can be patient, an opportunity for retribution will present itself. I beseech you, Prime Designate, let the fire of your wrath cool, at least for now. Its embers will be rekindled in due time. If not, I fear I will be authoring yet another report of a lost expedition, its final remnants dashed upon rock and wave. With all respect, Watcher Perethales. Okay, let's get the big one out of the way. What is Avaloran that they are trying so desperately to get into? Most likely, it is a fortified island somewhere, shrouded in the same fog that Pandaria or the Dragon Isles was shrouded in. But a group of Titan Forged that rebelled? That is uniquely interesting. It is possible that they are the last remaining forces of the Winterscorn War, Maybe they fled. However, it seems at this point unlikely. It infers that Inaria was also a keeper, which means they are possibly more than 9 we thought originally created. Why they seem more advanced, however, is intriguing. The aggressive nature implies Vrykul. The Earthen and Mechanomes were not known for being aggressive. Of this, it points to one more possibility. They could be talking about the Drust, as they originally settled the Isle, and the dark magic they learned there could have protected them from incursion. Just a thought. Next to last, we have an Earthen observational report. One of the Watchers reports on anomalies found that are now changing the Earthen. Fellow Watchers, when you were assigned to observe the state of our Titanforge subjects, who regretfully fell under the influence of the curse of flesh, the Keepers could not have anticipated the effort required to follow them as they spread throughout the world. I shall do my best to ensure your perseverance is recognized, but for now, you are to continue your duties until a new directive is authorized. It is apparent from your reports that the degree of transformation in the Titanforge subjects is significantly diverse. There is no group in which this variance is more easily observable than the Earthen. While some have succumbed entirely to this malady, such as the Earthen that emerged from Uldaman and called themselves dwarves, others remain resistant, whether in part or in full. One particularly notable variant can be found in the Earthen contingent dispatched to AR 938. In the course of their duties, these Earthen began to manifest behaviours analogous to those that would one day be apparent in the self-styled dwarves, despite the two groups being separated by vast swaths of time and distance. In fact, based on their origin dates, I could identify no correlation at all between these populations. Yet while their behaviours, language and demeanour show many similarities, for example, assigning Sector AR 938 the colloquial name Kaz Algar, physiologically the two groups remain distinct. Is this uniqueness due to exposure to the unique qualities of the anomaly? Or is there another reason? We require more data before a conclusion can be reached. As ever, your aid in this analysis remains invaluable. Remember, we are the eyes of the Titans. Respectfully, Watcher Melania. Once again, we are introduced to a new faction or subspecies here. This time, something akin to dwarves. Ones that, physiologically, do not look alike, but more they have cultural similarities. Our theory, and once again, this might be a little more tinfoil hat, that this is another location that we will be introduced to in patch content. This time it would be an underground location, and we may find these ancient dwarven kin do not want intrusion. While this is all interesting, what caught our attention most was the anomaly that the Earthen were sent to investigate. Something deep underground. And since the Watchers would have full knowledge of the old gods that lurk underground, in their respective prisons, It must be something else. Could this anomaly be the ancient evil the kobolds have been warning us about for so long? Something that hates the light and slumbers in the darkest shadows. We may just get to find out in Kaz Algar. But last, and certainly not least, is the last book, Edicts of the Prime, written by Odin himself. Keepers, it has been brought to my attention that, as of late, many of you have become fascinated by the emergence of mortal beings. That is, creatures born of flesh rather than crafted of stone and steel, like our loyal Titan Forged. While my initial impulse was to eradicate these aberrations before they evolved further, I now believe they may prove useful if properly controlled. Yet even as we guide their development according to the Edicts of the Titans, we must always remember that mortal minds are destined to be small and incapable of complex understanding. Therefore, as your Prime Designate, I must establish a few minor but necessary regulations to govern your interaction with these nascent beings. First, all historical records documenting the advancements of the Black Empire are to be purged immediately. Paint that age as one of chaos and misery, a pernicious blight that we keepers eradicated. With the old gods locked in confinement, there should be no evidence available to contradict our assertions. Surely if you care for these mortals, you would not wish to see them led astray into darkness. Second, attribute all accomplishments and works of wonder to the Titans alone. Despite the relentless arguments made by some of you, this is not a fallacy. After all, can anything truly be said to exist until it has been ordered? Of course not. Therefore, it is irrefutable that the Titans are the source of all creation. Third, teach them nothing of the first ones. Mortals could not conceive of the wonders these beings granted to the Titans in Zereth Ordus, and learning of the progenitors would only confuse them. It is enough that mortals know the Titans brought order to the cosmos, and they are owed deference. While some among you would prefer to argue these points further, such debate can no longer be tolerated. I remind you that I speak with the authority of the Titans, and any further dissent may cause me to question whether you have succumbed to outside influences. Remember, life is chaos. It must be controlled. Your leader, Prime Designate Odin. It's nice to see that it was not the passage of time that made Odin so insufferable. But true to form, he was always arrogant and haughty. But let's go over each of his regulations and what they mean for us. The first tells us how everything we have been told about the Black Empire and how we should be eternally afraid of it was nothing but a lie. Now this does not mean the old gods or the void are redeemable, and certainly not good guys, just that they are not really any better or worse than the Titans themselves. We are just small pieces to be moved around in their cosmic games. The second is definitely a cleanup of the lore surrounding the Emerald Dream, or the Plane of Life as we like to call it. We were told that it was the Titan Aeonar that created it, used it to seed all life. However, it is more likely that Aenar provides a function similar to Elune and the Winter Queen, with her job to seed new life in the universe after it has been reborn in Ardenweald and sent to the plane of life. The third is exactly what you would expect after Shadowlands. The Titans are no longer the mysterious gods in the universe, but more, they are major players in the grand machine. The possibility of a Zereth in each of the 6 greater cosmic planes is very exciting. However, I hope we don't get to see them too fast. The foreshadowing and lore cleanup provided by just these few books is truly remarkable. And while the reception of the first ones has been mixed, we're okay with it, as long as they remain as mysterious and ambiguous as they have so far. Then we can still seek the hidden mysteries together. I can't wait to hear everyone else's theories. And come back anytime.